Hey people, Alex here. Sorry it took me so long to get back to it, but I'm here with part 13 of Gravity Rush Remastered, and previously we went around Vendor Center of Hexaville, where we helped a scientist assist a scientist who was actually pretending to be a forgetful moron in order for me to help him with his little pet project for Dictator Janelica. And we ended up having a bad dream where we went around in a nightmare world chasing around a bunch of Dusties, which was weird. And at the end of that, I went back to the Mirage area and the Ruin area in those alternate dimensions to look for the hidden Nevis, the first of whom was pretty easy, just beat the shit out of him. And then the third one, which was a real pain in the neck because he's one of those flying ones where the wings cover his back, which makes aiming and hitting him much more difficult than it should be. And then I went around backtracking off screen to look for the final ghost for that dimension hopping couple, and I found Singlor in a beam under the city. And so I figured if I'm gonna go around finding everything, I might, especially if it's story related, I might as well show it. So that's what I did. I saved it. I saved the clip and trimmed it and sent the 4-minute video as part 12 on my channel. So we're at a point now where apparently we're very close to finishing the game. And the reason why I decided to go ahead and go after the hidden Nevis and Singlor's final Dimension Spectre was because turns out Gade is waiting at the Red Star of David down there for the story mission Unguarded Moment, and he was saying go back if you haven't finished anything, which is a huge insinuation that we're near the end. So I was like, okay, I'll go do that. And so I've gone and done it. Other than the challenge, than doing gold on the challenge missions, I really don't care. Which I really don't care for. I think I'm good, really. I honestly could not give a shit for those. And I've pretty much leveled everything. Although some things do look like they should have been leveled, been available, because look at that, they're still gray here. And they're still gray on the special attack, so I don't know what the deal is, but either way, we're close to the end. I want to try and get it over with as best as possible. What's the first Gade, then Cyania? Dusty's side seems to attract the strangest people. Something going down in downtown near Freedom Plaza, outside the clock tower. Yup. And Vladimir Lenin Danelica is making a big speech, apparently. Gade, what are you doing here? Cyania here too? End is nigh, are you ready for it? What are you talking about? Call it creator's intuition, but I sense a disturbance in the fabric of reality, as if a great many things are moving toward their conclusion. It may be your last chance to go to the Rift Plains or take care of other business. Something big's about to happen. Blah, blah, blah. I already did all that. Come to me, you're ready to begin. Yes, I'm ready to begin. Let's get it over with. Okay. Big gathering. It's Sid. Oi, cat. Ice cream cone for the road? What's with the crowd? What's going on today? It's the bum. He got himself an ice cream truck. Mayor Janelica's about to make his big announcement. Everyone's here to listen, so today's the day I finally make my big score. This cone's on the house. Aw, he's being nice to me, finally. Took him long enough. Oh, that is ridiculous. Freaking geese or something. Hey, Drew. Oh yeah, the scientist guy. Cat, do you know that man? He's Janelica's right-hand man. I've heard nothing but bad things about him. Yeah, we helped him. But that's because we didn't know who he was. Who, Drew? Don't be silly. You must be thinking of someone else. And pardon me for butchering the name, for I cannot speak French to save my life. Beloved citizens, you are gathered here today to bear witness to history. Today's the day we rid ourselves of the Navy menace once and for all. Join me in welcoming our new savior. That's big. What is this thing? The Dark Reaper from Star Wars Clone Wars? It's even got the Harvester. Hell, they even call it the Harvester. Yeah, Star Wars, the Clone Wars, the game from 2002. That was a great game. What the heck is that? Their new toy, apparently. Emergency, incoming Navy. This way, quick, no pushing. Women and children first. Perfect timing, wouldn't you say? Gate, I'll be right back. Cat, something's not right. Ladies and gentlemen, what a wonderful opportunity to demonstrate the awesome offensive capabilities of the latest in military technology, the Sea Anemone. Okay, I have to say it. I'm a little confused with the world building in Gravity Rush because, well, I get the overall setting, but where I'm thrown off is all the use of names for sea creatures. Like what time period is this? I've yet to see an ocean anywhere. Like, is there a library somewhere that tells of this? Like, was there a sea at one point and they just appropriated all the names? Because I don't know how they know any of this. Not to mention, come to think of it, how does they feed themselves? I have yet to see a farmland of any kind on all 4 of these floating islands. I mean, it's not like in Gundam where they explain that the colonies have agricultural pods for farming and food processing. I don't know, that's just me, I guess. Is everything ready? Here, see for yourself. Anemone, mop that Nevi garbage up. It has guns. Unguarded moment. Eat the Nevi. I'm trying to black hole a bunch of them together, because there's a trophy for that. Weapons taking him out so fast. How did they make it so powerful? Yeah, good question. Glad it's on your side. Yeah, for now. They're up to something. What the hell? Sea wasp. She's got a bone to pick with me. Shifter, you're under arrest. Provision 113 of the Anti-Nevi Act. Resistance would be unwise. Do I look Nevi to you, wench? I'm what? You're arresting me at a time like this? The Sea Anemone can handle the Nevi. Your assistance is no longer required. We don't need your kind of trouble around our city. I'll protect Hexville now. What did I do that warrants arrest? Aren't there more important things to deal with? We have to work together to save the city. Orders are orders. Surrender quietly. Yeah, bad orders. There's no need for this to get violent, unless you plan on resisting arrest. Well, aren't you the model soldier, obeying orders at any cost because it's easier than thinking for yourself? Orders, orders, orders. Do you always just do whatever your commander says? I thought he was better than some 2-bit yes man who does whatever the mayor asks. Unica, think about it. If he doesn't need me anymore, what's you when it's your turn? Stop talking. No. Then I'll make you stop. So we gotta fight her, eh? Okay, she's kicking my ass. There she go. Fuck it. Gravity spears. Well, that did a big chunk of damage, if I do say so myself. Shifter, why won't you come quietly? It'll be easier for the both of us. I'll decide what's best for me. I'm not going to go quietly, so if you want to arrest me, come and get me. Fine. I didn't want to have to use this, but it seems you leave me no choice. Requesting stingers. Dodge and weave, dodge and weave. Looks like I'm a little tougher than you thought. Maybe you should run back to your commander and request some new orders. I'm tired of you insulting the military, and I'm done taking it easy on you. Engaging safety override. Pulse response and regulator in sync. Output increased to 121%. Uh-oh. Ow. Firing Mega Man blasts. Bye-bye. Go for the finisher. Not what I wanted to do, but okay. Uh-oh. How fucking convenient was that? Uh-oh. We're taking my cat. And me along for the ride. Did they just freeze me in carbonite? Oh yeah, from the vision. There's a statue of me. And I'm blue like that. So it was a prophecy, and it's coming to fruition. Poor Dusty and poor Cat. Mission accomplished. Sid. He's shooting at it. Okay then. Sorry, I got distracted by Twitter. Well, I'm saved. Wait, what about my cat? Cat, talk to me. No. Yeah, I'm frozen. What? You just committed an act of treason, officer. What are you doing? Where are you taking Cat? My orders come straight from the top. It's not our place to question our superiors. Uh-huh. Someone's a real stick in the mud. Stop fooling yourself. You say you're here to stop the Nay, but what are you really after? What? What just happened? It blew up. Hey, Pops, that thing's acting funny. Commander, something's wrong with Anemone. What? It's going haywire. Alrighty then. Hang in there, cat. I'll think of. You'd risk disrupting fate. Uh-oh. You? I hate to interfere, but I must protect the dream. Guardian, fulfill your role. I release you so that you may free the shifter. You too are but a figment of the dream, and you must fulfill your role as well. So wait, what? Is everything in Hexville just imaginary land? I mean, yeah, I thought the creator... there's the whole creator thing, but... What the heck? Is this like SSSS Gridman? Where all these characters we've met, they're all just figments of someone's imagination? Because if so, that's... I have a bit of a problem with that. I'm just saying. Just feels, weird. No rest for the virtuous. I'm back. Biatches. Shifter, how did you... Surprised to see me? It helps to have friends in high places. And it's your super... And what's your super weapon doing to the city? And why is it just you out there fighting it? Where's Yuri? Where's the army? The battleship was destroyed and the chain of command is broken. It's up to me to stop Anemone. Well, it looks like it's doing a bang-up job of handling the Navy and protecting Hexaville. I better get up there and stop it. Shift or halt. This is a military operation. You'd just be getting in the way. Ugh. Unica, you're wounded. It's just a scratch. If I reroute power to the repair systems, I'll be fine. I'm the only one left to preserve the military's honor. Think of the city before your stupid honor. This isn't the time to be drawing lines in the sand, deciding who can or can't help. Cat, wait. Anemone inside. It's... Inside. We have to go in the core. Have to stop the thing before it goes in the city. An unguarded moment. Can't even scratch it. Yeah, how do we scratch it? Didn't do anything either. There's the core. Wait a minute, it's glowing like a Nevi spot. Cat, aim for the exposed core. How much you want to bet that because they used Nevi to make the thing, it's going crazy as a result? Unica. Yeah, she tired herself out. Core, what would a secret weapon... Damage to Hexaville. The military super weapon is out of control and destroying Hexaville. Each attack against the city raises its destruction level. Once it reaches 100, Hexaville will be lost. Okay. Well, this boss fight is surprisingly easy. I interrupted the attack when I shouldn't. Kept going. I go? There it is. Uh-oh. Multiple cores. Huh, they tried to build weapons using Nevi as power sources? Arrogant fools, as if they could control that kind of power. I knew it. They did use Nevi. I mean, they mentioned it, but I didn't know to what extent. Like, did you use them as test subjects for how to target them, or did you actually make the thing out of them? And yep, they made it out of them, and it's not good. What even are the Nevi, come to think of it? I don't think we've ever gotten an answer. Mayor, wait, just give the word and I can engage the emergency override. Everything I've worked for depends on the Anemone. It would be a small sacrifice to make for the greater good. How would you make that, monster? Did you really think you could control the Nevi? Thing's doing more damage and I am out of health. Okay, good. I got my rockets. Fire everything! Well, it's not protecting the city anymore. Uh-oh. Now what's it doing? Where did it get that? Uh-oh. It's going to blast the city. Can't even put a dent in it. How am I supposed to stop this thing? Yeah, exactly what I just said. Cat, tear a hole in space-time. This will be my final act of interference with the dream. Cyania. Cat, over here. Use your power on me. So they're gonna give me something. Get in my belly! So they're having me use a thing on him. What the hell? Wait a minute, it's the Ark! Hell yeah! My girl Raven. Anemone's not responding. We have no choice. We must engage the override. So we fed him a chunk of our power, and he managed to get the Anemone over from wherever it was. Unfortunately, but necessary, Anemone will take Event Center out when it blows. It's a little early, but consider the population reduction plan to now be in effect. Here's the override switch, Mayor. You might want to at least give them a running start. Beloved people of Higgsville, calmly evacuate the area. Anemone's self-destruct sequence has been activated. Denelica, how could he? She was duped. What is he doing? They'll never make it away in time. Denelica just signed their death sentence. Stop Anemone before it blows. I gotta blow it up. Ah, there it is. Oh, come on. Repairs complete. Seawasp returning to active duty. Unica? The Nevi's absorbed Anemone's weapon system. It's too dangerous to get close now. Leave that to me. Just buy some time. Unica, Raven, let's take it down. Yeah? Leave it to me and I'll stop in its tracks. So we gotta go over to her. Three minutes to self-destruct. Now for Raven to put a dent in it. Come on, you big red ball of death. Ah! Go get her, Raven. I wanted to use the rocks. We had her in the same area. Come on. Come on, you can do it. Cat, now. You've only got one chance. Do it. Unica, Raven, leave it to me. Beast mode. Ho ho ho. Right in their face. Seriously, if that isn't a double trigger in the next game, I'll be furious. Whatever, the game's probably still good anyway. Wait, that's it? No rest for the virtuous? The Gravity Queen returns and saves the city. Mayor Janelica hospitalized. Citizens demand resignation. Well, that was a pretty... Lost children continue to hibernate aboard Ark. In there. Well, that was an abrupt ending. Raven. Oh, okay, it's doing that anime movie thing where it still continues even with the credits. Raven, how are the children and Zaza? I'm not sure. They've been asleep ever since they entered the Ark. After coming all this way, I wish there was a way we could wake them. It's my fault. There might have been another way to bring them back. The Ark will guard the children until it is their time to rise. The figments of the dream are coming together to return the light to the world. I can't read this so fast. That's what someone in the dream told me to tell you anyway. Why is this in the credits? By the way, both Cat and Raven are gorgeous, I just want to say. Oi! I take both of them out on a date. Cat, up for some ice cream? Uh-oh. Someone's got a Nevi orb on them. It's him. What? No, the shifter couldn't possibly be. Yup. It's Cat. But where's she from? Commander, you should be in bed. Everything is under control. Even soldiers need their rest. Perhaps so. This is but the calm before the storm, after all. Pardon? And a harbinger of destruction shall descend from on high. The Ark had completed its journey, and the city in the clouds was returning to normal. There were no more Nevi sightings, and the threat seemed to finally be over. As I waited for the lost tribe of children to awaken, I tried my best to enjoy a brief moment of peace. Peace is often fleeting, and some fights never end. Yeah, pretty much. Save post-game completion data. We continue to explore the world using this data. Yes. So, the game's over. Well, that was a very... So, it bleeds into more of... So it bleeds into the next game. I see, so... This goes right into the next Gravity Rush. So the story is not self-contained. It continues onward. Okay. So there are plot threads that are not yet continued, finished yet. I see. Okay, well let me, So the final fight isn't so much against the Nevi as much as it's an artificial creation. So, well, story continues into Gravity Rush 2 and the Raven DLC. Huh. So it's like Lord of the Rings in that regard. It's like, yeah, the story continues. It's not self-contained within the first. It's just one game. Well, let me, what's in the gallery? Cat. Oh, they got us some concept art. Duh. Panther form. That has to hopefully be like a Devil Trigger equivalent in the next game. Early cat sketch. So these were designs they had in their heads before. I wonder if this bled into eventually Raven. Love Raven's design. What can I say? I have a weakness for goth chicks. Alias had an Anubis thing going on at one point. The Nevis. Art. Battle in the sky. A save icon. Nice. What was this? This is a nice illustration. Wait a minute, there is an ocean? No, wait a minute, this is Mexico. Cancun. In the real world. I was a little confused there. Opening movie. Okay, so there is a cutscene viewer in this game. Nice. What does continue do? So we can go back in the game. I think I'm going to go into the main game world because then the music's much more mellow and I can get my thoughts out without having to compete with it. With the main themes blaring everything. Now that Hexville's at peace, you're free to wander the city to complete any missions you may have left behind. Gravity Queen. Ah. No. Oh, now they allow me to increase my health and whatnot. Even though there's no reason to, the game's over. Kind of silly, honestly. I don't get it. Why would you save it until post-game? It makes no damn sense. Well, the music's much more mellow, so I can honestly give my thoughts. Alright. So, Gravity Rush. What do I think of it? Well, it's a very fun game. I like it. The basic gameplay is, well, it's basically Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, you know, character action style gameplay. So it's, I wouldn't say it's nearly as in depth as those games are, but it's not the game's fault. So what works, it works. And it feels good. It really does. But of course the reason for that simplicity is because of the gravity shift powers. You know, that's the game's main gimmick. And I do think it's a bit wonky at times with having to press, you know, R1 and square on repeat to make use of it. I do think it functions pretty well. It's a little wonky at times, but I do think it functions for the most part as it's intended to. And honestly, if you ask me, this is the closest I think we've ever gotten, along with the second game, I can assume, to a Superman's type game, you know, in terms of being a superpowered character who flies around and does super stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, what Superman game can you name from the past 20 or 30 years that's been good? You can't really name any, honestly. It's like they practically don't exist. Every attempt has been a floundering failure, at least since the days of Superman 64. That was bad. I hear no one talk about Superman Returns. And I've never played Superman Returns, so I don't know what people think of that one. But honestly, if you're looking for that kind of action game, this is probably the closest you're ever gonna get. As far as the story's concerned, well, it's clearly not a complete story. It spills into the next game. So it's a bit of a, it's a Lord of the Rings situation where what's there is good, but at the same time it's not complete. It leaves you wondering what next, and it most certainly did. Like, the credits came immediately after beating the Anemone, and I was like, what, that's it? But no, there's the next game, I can only assume, follows it. And they did the whole anime movie thing where it's like they finish it up while the credits roll, which is something I wish a lot of those movies would stop doing, because it doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like a rush job. But that's another story, rant for another day. I do feel the story is a little bit discombobulated to a point where it's like, yeah, you arrive, with Kat, whose memory is completely wiped, and we get hints of her past in a few parts of the story, but it kind of does what Mass Effect 2 did, where it's like it takes a bit of a back seat. Like, you expect it to be the A plot, but it kind of meanders around in the background. Much of what you end up doing is just going around the different sectors of Hexville, righting wrongs and fighting monsters and whatnot. So it's a bit of a B plot taking over everything else, while A plot takes a back seat, except in a few points. But I do like the presentation. I like the art style. I like the world. I do think the world is a little hard. It's one of those worlds where it's like, how do I wrap my head around this? And it kind of leaves me asking a lot of questions, which I can only hope are answered in the second game. And, of course, you have all those little details, like the whole fish stick, where I'm like, okay, how do these people know what aquatic life is when they've been suspended up in the sky for Lord knows how long, and if they've even been here since the beginning? Not to mention, you have the whole creator thing, which has me confused. It's like SSSS Gridman, where it's like, it was all made by somebody's head, and I'm left scratching my head like, what? I mean, at least the Matrix explained everything. The computer world was that of an AI system, and they explained it within 5 minutes. So I'm a little confused as to how the world operates. So it's interesting, it's intriguing. But unless Gravity Rush 2 explains the rest of it as well as the rest of the story, I am admittedly a little lost in regards to how this setting is built, what the setting is built upon. Because some things I understand, other things I really don't understand and make no sense to me, but I am interested. Where the game does shine even more despite that, is the characters. I really like the look and design of Kat, and her character is cute too. I like her. Raven I like as well. The other characters I can either take or leave, but those two are really the face of the game. And it's no wonder that Raven became a playable character for a DLC, if a small one. I hope that another Gravity Rush game comes soon, where we're not restricted to just Kat, but possibly can we double as both her and Raven? Because I would love to have a game where we play as both of them. Music's fine. Personally, not in my favorites, but it's not really one of my favorite video game soundtracks, but it does the job. It gets you into the world. Gives me a bit of a Studio Ghibli vibe, as well as the art style less so, but definitely the music. And like I said, the gravity powers work well too, although I do think there were clearly some powers that we were meant to have, because there were points later where she goes into that panther form, and that's like, is that supposed to be the game's equivalent of Cat's equivalent of Devil Trigger, because that's what it feels like. And I'll be disappointed if it's not a power you can use in the second game. So yeah, graphics and visuals, even if for a PS Vita port, very good. I love Cat and Raven. Again, story could have been a little less jumbled with, you know, the main story being we never really get, we never really get an answer as to who Cat is. That's a bit of my problem. It meanders a bit and kind of leaves you hankering for the sequel to explain shit. So I'm a little miffed about that. Me personally, unless you're Lord of the Rings, I'm of the opinion that a story should be able to stand on well enough on its own in one title, and if possible, you know, do more in the second one, which was what Star Wars did. You know, the original one, A New Hope. Great enough story on its own, but did so well enough and still left the door open for more stories to be told. Well, the good stories to be told anyway, because fuck Disney Wars. I'm sorry, I can't help it. So I am interested to see where the story goes, but I am a little miffed that the prevailing question that we've had since the first chapter, who is Cat, why is her memory wiped, has not been answered in the entirety of the game. So the fact that it is super reliant on a sequel to answer any questions that it raises up on its own does kind of miff me. It's the same reason why the Force Awakens story ultimately suffered. Thought was lost. How'd you get it? Fuck you, we're not telling you. Leave that to a comic book to do it, because the movies won't explain shit. But I don't know. That's just my general feelings on how the story presentation is. Still enjoyable, just wish it didn't rely so heavy on sequel bait, you know what I mean? So yeah, really my only other frustration is at the flying, especially when fighting can be a little wonky. Do wish the combat could have been a little deeper, but considering that this is a mechanic we've never seen done in a character action game like this before, I can kind of understand why they held back a bit. Let's test this out with the first game, see how it works out, and if it works, we'll hopefully do more in the second, which I hope is the case. Also, the Nevi. I have to be frank, I really don't like the Nevi. They come across as cheap. I like how the idea of in terms of fighting them, you know, going for the weak spots, precision controls and all that. It's just their base design really doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry, the amorphous, shapeless blob shtick just doesn't do it for me. It just feels like a cop-out for good enemy design. I mean, yeah, it's better than fighting the legions of the undead for the millionth time like we've seen in every other game, but it does feel cheap to me. Some of them do, of course, do have a form, one weirder than the next. There's a freaking shark with human legs, and you have to, and his weak spot is in his nether regions, which I think is freaking hilarious. But the whole purple red amorphous blob thing, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. I've honestly seen I've seen better, way better. Remember Arkham from Devil May Cry 3, how he took how his whole shtick ended up being just a big purple blob? That's pretty much how I feel with the Nevi. They're all a bunch of little Arkhams. So I'm not too impressed by them. Not to mention, where the heck are they from? But then again, that kind of, and what makes them? Then again, there was even a situation where one kind of bonded to that girl Echo, and it was like protecting her or something. It was weird. Really weird. But that, again, that falls more to the story and setting of the game, failing to tell us how all this works effectively. I mean, yeah, they explain that Gabe's a creator, but how? Where's he from? How does any of this get created? So that's where I'm confused. It's like, what Lovecraftian influence is created this world? You know, what's the structure of everything? That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, it does leave me kind of wanting, thankful to know more about what's going on. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the game. It's open world to an extent. It's more open world in the way that Mass Effect city hubs are open world. They're not very big. Pretty self-contained. Not ginormous in the way of Red Dead or Grand Theft Auto, honestly. But I do like how you can go from here to there, especially on the train and airships. I do think the gameplay, you know, I don't think the game is very hard. Unless the game has a difficulty setting that it never showed me, and it never did upon starting up. I don't see this being a very difficult game. The only thing that honestly is difficult is the challenge missions, trying to get gold on some of them. And anyone who has watched knows I have nothing but hatred towards timed challenge missions. To me, they're just the ultimate time waster and filler. So I can do without those any day. So, open world, not very big, but it is fun to fly around like Superman. And skid around on like I'm a living skateboard. What else? Or Supergirl in this case. You know, you got your side missions here and there. But yeah, it's not very difficult, at least to me. It hasn't been. Maybe only a few occasions where I died, or because I didn't know what to do. So it's not the hardest game in the world. If you're looking for something on the level of Devil May Cry difficulty or Ninja Gaiden, you're not gonna get it with this one. At least I don't think. Yeah, I don't see any difficulty options on the settings, so maybe it is just one difficulty. I don't know, really. And I did like going around the world and fixing everything. And, yeah, I'd say it's a decently length game. I mean, it took me a week because, you know, I work. So, and I'm juggling between this and my reading. But, not a terribly long game. I didn't expect it to be long either, since, you know, this was a handheld game originally for the PS Vita. But it's not terribly short either. I mean, if you're good, you could probably beat it within a week, or at least a week. But it has a decent amount of time put in, so not terribly long, but not terribly short either, unless you're a speedrunner. And so yeah, overall, in retrospect, Gravity Rush Remastered plays well, controls well, for the most part, despite a few hiccups. The gravity controls are neat. I do hope that the second game, you know, does a few more, like that Panther Beast mode or whatever it is, because That really should be like her Devil Trigger equivalent. I really like the art design. And Cat and Raven are cute as all hell. I really like them. They're very good characters. I love their design. And as characters, I think they're very, they're fun to watch and fun to play. Well, play as referring to Cat, but I know Raven's playable as DLC in the second game, so... And from what I understand, the DLC for Raven takes place during the events, the final act of this game, and lead into the second game, so... I will stream that. If the game allows me to do it, I hope, I do plan to preferably do the Raven DLC next, soon, before I go into Gravity Rush 2, because, I want to maintain continuity. I would prefer it if the game did not just automatically start me into it, just like it did. Because, when I first started it, there wasn't even a main menu. It just went to that tree with the apple, and it led me right into it. So, yeah, hopefully it does that. It's the traditional menu screen first, new game second, because that way I can do the Raven DLC and maintain continuity. So as I was saying, yeah, gameplay's fun. Just a little simple but fun. Then again, mostly to try and make sense of the gravity controls, which is a unique feature. Again, art design and world is interesting, if ill explained, and honestly requires another game to really fill in anything. Story's enjoyable, but again, it does have that Mass Effect 2 problem where the A plot is shoved into the back in favor of a bunch of B plots. Music's fine again, reminds me of Studio Ghibli to an extent, or at least something similar. Is that the Anemone battle station up there? Yeah, it is. Look at it. But it's been made to be out of reach, so you can't go up to it. So, yeah. Do I recommend getting this game? Yes, but there is a huge caveat with it, because Sony, yes, it always goes back to Sony. Now, the game is available digitally on the PlayStation Network for purchase through on the PS4, but if you aim to get a physical copy of this game, you're gonna be in for a headache and a half, because Sony, in their infinite retarded wisdom, thought it would be a good idea to make a limited amount of physical copies and make them only exclusive through Amazon. And I didn't have a PlayStation 4 at the time, so by the time I finally did get one, I was shit out of luck. Gravity Rush 2 had already been out and was now down for $20, and I suggest you do that and give the developers your money in the process, because I think they could really need it, use it, especially for a series that a lot of people really like, and I would love to see a third game, and I like what I see. But if you're aiming to add a physical copy to your collection, you're going to be hard-pressed, because Sony stupidly made it so limited and gave the game virtually no promotion except for, second-hand opinions from other gamers. Finding it on Amazon and eBay is a chore and a half, with prices ranging anywhere from $60 to $80, if not 90 to 100, maybe more. So finding a copy brand new, if at least in passable condition, for the box at least, is a headache and a half. 12 halves. And the copy I got ended up having a tear in the cover, which made me royally Because you're trying, me, I like to get the stuff in at least as good a condition as possible. Ooh, hello. So, sorry, NPC distracted me. So, if you're trying to get a new copy, brand new, or at the very least acceptable, used with little damage, you're gonna have a lot of issues. And yeah, the tear in my copy's box art is not bad, terribly bad, but I wish it didn't exist. And it doesn't help that a lot of gamers these days do not take care of their shit, and as such, everything, boxes are damaged or have disgusting crap on them stuck to them, so it's like, ugh. So if you do intend to get a physical copy, you're gonna have to save up a good chunk of dough and go hunting online for it. Because Lord knows, because Sony are idiots. But if not, if you're unable to do it, I say bite the bullet and buy digital, even if on principle you prefer physical, which I most certainly do, and the fact I even managed to get a copy is something else entirely. But overall, if you're interested in Gravity Rush and want to start where the series began, so you're not just thrown into the sequel with no context, definitely get the first game remastered. If you have a PS Vita already, and you're itching and you want to get the game as it was when it first came out, by all means do it. Either way, I do recommend it for what it's worth. Try it out. And then, hell, I'm glad I tried it out. I got the second game for cheap, brand new, and I've been wanting to get to it for a long time, but I didn't want to do it without the context of the first game. So, overall, I'm glad I did. I'm finally glad I got to dip my toes into this, and again, like the combat, like the style, like the character. What I don't like are the Nevi. I think their design sucks, to be perfectly honest, even if fighting them is enjoyable to an extent. And I do hope that the story and world is much better explained than the second one, because this game doesn't kind of leaves you hanging with how any of this works. So, yeah, that's pretty much my personal qualms with it. But overall, I enjoyed it. I like it. I'm looking forward to getting to the second game now. The DLC first. Before that, if it allows it. So, another one down. Another one to go. I don't know if I want to go into this next game now or take a break with something else. I don't know. I need to give it some thought because I've got a bunch of stuff on me, although some of it is of the open world variety again. Why is everything open world? Well, I don't know. I'll line up my eggs in a basket and pick and mule over which I want to do next. And if I decide to go straight into the next Gravity Rush, I'll do it. Otherwise, I'll look at what I have already in my backlog and besides that, and mule it over, because I like to keep things varied. You know what I mean? So, I'll mule over it. Really enjoyed my time with Gravity Rush 1 Remastered. And I'll get to the second one when I've made up my mind on how I want to proceed next. So, I enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the playthrough of it. I got nothing else to say, to be frank, so I'll leave you all with this, and for those who missed it, you can check out the rest of the playthrough on my YouTube channel. And if you're curious, I've already played through a whole hunk of other games that I've also given my thoughts on as well. So, thank y'all for watching. Like, share, subscribe. And I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.